Is this a Cardano breakout or is it just a fake out? In today's video, guys, we are jumping into the technical analysis on Cardano's ADA, sharing my thoughts and opinions on where I think things are heading next. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video update. And today we are talking about Cardano. Here we have ADA paired up with USDT. We're on the 4-hour Binance chart. And yeah, we have this interesting potential breakout, right? So in the last Cardano video that I was doing, I was talking about the potential here for rejection on our trend line, basically within our range of 62.43 to 68 cents. And you can see if I grab hold of a couple of things here, you can see we had one rejection right here. Okay, we have another rejection right here, and of course we have a real minor one just here, and I'm going to show you what that looks like by zooming in right here. So if we come in, we can see that we had rejection right on our trend line right here. Let me go ahead and grab a pencil right here, and we came down to our 50 EMAs before launching. We then had a breakthrough candle. The breakthrough candle is this green one right here. This was on the 29th of February at 4 a.m. UTC. And of course, we have this upper trend line here, which was acting as resistance, bringing us back down where we had a breakdown candle, a fake out candle right here before getting more traction back to the upside. Okay, now our trend line, let me go ahead and zoom out of this for a second. Okay, our trend line here that starts on the wick high from the 30th of January has a couple of tests on it. Okay, and those tests are basically showing us that this was upper area of resistance, right? Here, here, and of course, most recently just here. So we had our trend line on the higher side also acting as resistance that we got the breakthrough from. Then we had this upper trend line here also acting as resistance, which we also got a breakout from just over here. Okay, but we were unable to kind of keep this. We saw a little bit of a move back down towards the 50 EMA, and now we have launched. So is it a breakout or is it a fake out? Well, I think it's a mixture of both. I think our trend lines here are incredibly weak, specifically this one right here as well. So I'm going to remove this one from the chart, but leaving this main area that we were looking at as our kind of area of resistance, 62.43 to 68, and our trend line in there. Now, this most recent move to the upside is looking pretty good, and I don't think it's over just yet. It does look like it still has a little bit more in the tank. And I was trying to kind of put in here like some kind of pattern. What kind of pattern was playing out that saw this breakout to the upside? And, you know, there are a couple of scenarios that could be in play. I don't think they are, but, you know, they could have been, which was the inverted head and shoulders. I briefly spoke about this in the previous video, and you can see here it's not a good fit simply because of how our structure is here, right? We'd have to kind of see this a little bit higher to start with. Now, it's possible if we were to try to manipulate this and not take into consideration some of those wicks, then we might be able to kind of make it work a little bit. And this pattern would still show us with growth potential if we were to try to make it fit. Let's go ahead and zoom in on our head here, right? This shows us actually almost reaching it about 80 cents, which I believe is the area that we were talking about in the previous video. And then, of course, the other one, which is probably better suited, would be the cup and handle. I showed you this one in the last video as well. This one basically being the idea that we have a kind of cup right inside here, and we have this little tiny handle right here. Now, this one actually looks a little bit better, and this one still targets out 80 cents. So for the most part, I think those are the only way that we can kind of ideally justify this through pattern trading. Price analysis, obviously we had the breakout of the resistance, so that's looking good. And you can see at the moment, at the point of recording today's video, with our new local high at 79.57, we're close to that 80 cent area. So we're already kind of on our way towards those kind of areas that we were talking about previously. Now, you can see that our stochastic RSIs are overbought on the 1 hour, overbought on the daily and monthly, but there is still some growth in this 4 hour time frame. frame, showing us that we have some more potential moves to the upside here for ADA before we start to see any corrections. Now, if we throw on the divergence indicator, you can also see that we had hidden bullish divergence right here on this wick low, indicating that we were likely to see a significant surge to the upside here. So we had that breakout from our divergence indicator. So you might just be a pattern trader, you might be a price analysis trader, support resistance trading, breakthrough trading, or even if you are just trading divergences. There were a lot of flags here for Cardano to see this breakout occur. Now, let's talk about where we think things are heading next. Well, with all of these things that have happened, they ultimately do lead us into an area of, unfortunately, bearishness. Okay, we don't want to be bearish, but it does show me that there is good reason for us to potentially think that the price action is topping out. Okay, we've still got some growth in our stochastics, so we still have a little bit more room to the upside. So we might pierce that 80-cent range before we start calling off. But we should start thinking about a retracement for Cardano soon. Now, if we kind of zoom out of our chart here a little bit, we can see that we are kind of looking for this move to the upside to go up a tiny bit further. Let's go ahead and show on or put on our Fibonacci retracement tool with those extensions, and we can kind of just load up this area right here of expectation coming in between the 74.89 and 87.79. Okay, so we're getting, we're almost kind of there. We're right up in this range right now. Now, looking at this, I would say that we are in, let me just actually check, because I want to see what's going on with this one over here before I go ahead and make some wild assumptions. But it does look like we are at an interesting spot. So let's go ahead and take a look. So in here, that is interesting. It's kind of more parallel. I was hoping it would be more expanding out within this move. So I'm going to do some measurements. I'm going to take these measurements, and these are actually really important so we understand that we are not just making up any kind of random moves. And yeah, okay, that could be an issue. Yeah, okay, so it's not what I was thinking it was going to be down there. So this target range is definitely very loose, but it is a bit of a range that we can be thinking about. What I was hoping for down here, guys, was that this could be some kind of diagonal-based pattern. It is not. And so within that structure, we cannot look at this move as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't do that. I was hoping that we could, but we can't. Instead, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to think of this W, X, Y, X, and Z. Okay, so we still have that move to the upside, but it is not going to be to that kind of level that we were kind of hoping for. But nonetheless, it's still pretty good. So let's go ahead and actually grab this structure with the fibs. What I'm trying to do, guys, is just measure the distance on this move from our low of June 2023. And the reason for this is that this move will be mirrored in that last little pattern at the end. So I need to get this wick right up here. There we go. Okay, so this measurement that I've just grabbed on the fibs is what we're looking for in this move to the upside over here. Okay, this time it will be slightly different, and it will be from the lower range to that higher range. Okay, so you can see that we've already met all minimum expectations on this move to the upside. Depending on how you want to look at it, we've got a little bit more from the cup and handle, but we've kind of met Elliott wave theory's minimum expectations already, and we're already in this higher range here. Between that 74.95 and 87.81. Otherwise, yeah, I think Cardano is reaching its upper limits here, and we will be looking for retracement. Where will that retracement go? Well, there's a lot of bearishness there. We could see a very significant drop to the downside, so be a little bit cautious of that. If we're lucky, we'll just find this previous area of resistance and turn it into support and continue our run to the upside. So the bulls will be looking realistically for this area down here between 62.43 and 68 to try to turn that into support. If we were to start to see a retracement, this would be the support area. If we lose this, then we are going to be talking about coming down lower than 50 cent in order to find support, in my opinion. If we're maybe lucky at 55, but if we don't hold up at 62, then yeah, 55 and then 50 and cascade from there if we needed to. So what's the trading opportunity? Well, the trading opportunity ultimately, in my opinion, is going to be a bit of a short position. Not ideal because we don't want to short the market when we're above the 200. 4-hour EMA, but I think that's the one that is the most probable. Even if we were just to trade between these two ranges with a really tight stop loss here, we could end up with a reasonable risk reward ratio. Now, I personally think that we probably shouldn't trade this one just yet. I'd probably give it a bit more time, see if we can get a few more candles to kind of confirm where things are heading. And if I were to then be looking at shorting the market, I would be shorting on BitGet. BitGet is my go-to platform when it comes to leverage-based trading. And there's plenty of reasons from why I find it so useful and easy to use. And of course, there is an affiliate link to BitGet in the description down below if you haven't yet already signed up. So why not go ahead and check that out if you haven't done so already. And that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Why don't you check out this video right here where JB's got some interesting things to talk about. And I think you're going to find them very interesting too.